You know, say get some students where they prepare for tech job for more than 2 years and still they no get job. Then another person go enter serious mode for just 3 months, build 2 projects, understand system design, also use AI tools very well. Then he go enter interview. Then the recruiter go say, this one sabi wetin they do. You've gotten the job. Omo, the pain abi very painful. But this thing is not magic actually, and it's no luck at all. Come closer. No be all those buy my course and become full stack engineer on Friday. No be those ones. So no. The difference is mindset. Wetin I talk? The difference is your mindset. Some people are learning tech like students. Don't do that. Stop am today. Just stop am. Because most people that become professionals, when sabi the job where they learn tech or they learn it like builders. I don't talk and tire for my content. Learn it like a builder. Yes, there's a big difference. Yes. Because the old way of preparing for tech job is already weak. It's weak. It cannot be overemphasized. It's weak. We all know the way tech was last year, 2 years, 3 years ago. Not be the same thing this year again. Yes. Because before, the formula, now say, we go learn HTML, learn CSS, learn JavaScript, solve 400 coding questions like for lead code. Abi? Build one to do app, then put passionate software engineer on top of this thing for LinkedIn. Then you just sit and hope that HR finds you in the wilderness. My guy, that is not enough anymore. No. Companies today are not just looking for people that know how to write code. No, that time don't pass. AI has made information very easy for everybody. They are looking for people who go fit think properly. People that can look at the problem today and then break it down. People that understand how frontend talks to the backend. People that also understand how backend talks to the database. Then they go graduate small. People who understand how authentication work, how authorization work. People who know how payment they flow. They see them. Some are even keen about people that understand API design, that knows how APIs are designed. In fact, in this age, if you know sabi explain your technical decision without saying, they sound like person who swallow documentation, like snake, they swallow that money that year, you remember? They don't collect you. Many things are involved now, not just coding. It's more of engineering now. So you see, then I hear system design enter. System design is no more for only senior engineers anymore. As a junior dev, you supposed to know them. Some of now we see that video where they talk that day, say, and when they talk saying that the AI and the intent guy, the junior dev not incorrect, AI native and blah, blah, blah. If you know what you are doing, you go understand why they antagonize the guy like that. AI does everything. It doesn't even understand how the system work. You know, go fit explain what the system they do. What you know they talk? Say AI is the future. Who say no be the future be that? But he offload everything, give AI. We call and sit down. Oh yeah, what this place they do so that in case we want maintainer, it couldn't explain. What does it? It just shows say most of them don't know anything. Because before, you fit say, I will learn system design after I get the job. But today, even internship interview, they ask you, say, how will you design a URL shortener? Exactly. Oh, for intern. The few say, how will you build a chat app? Nowadays, if intern tell you, say, Ajax go take the reload and you're not supposed to slap him in this generation. Yes. The fit even ask you how you go take build food delivery. Or how will you make this API handle many users? They will not say maybe thousands in concurrent. No, they will just say, okay, work for 10 users. How will you handle 100 users? They will ask in 10, yes. Because the information is out there. You know how many students go freeze with these questions, or at least? And it is not just because they are not smart. No, they're smart. They're sabi book. Some of them are first class. But why? Because they only learned syntax. Syntax, no, they're hot again now. Yes. And then they refuse to learn systems. Or maybe they don't teach. They don't know who to blame now, whether not the teacher or not the teachee. See, system design simply means how different parts of an application work together. No big, no just the jam or some kind of jargons. That's what it just simply means. For example, let's assume you want to build WhatsApp. No be say you go just open your VS Code, just type create WhatsApp method. No. If only say life easy like that, maybe for sharp now. All of us for be software engineer now, was be all of us. You need users, you need authentication, you need messages, you need notification, you need database. You even need delivery speed, media upload. You also need online, offline status. Abi, you need security, you need speed, you need backup. Yeah. You need to ask what will happen when 1 million people send messages at the same time. It's beyond code. What go happen if database go down? Many things no go through and I don't talk entire for my content. That entire thing so na system design. There's this system design book. Maybe I go ask editor to put on for screen. Make na see am. It's common. I don't forget the name. Me na go read them. I even had to give it to my DevOps student. You see, DevOps self now supposed to know system design. Yes. I gave it to my system student. Made they read and they go as we did beginning. So don't forget, if you still want to join, message me, send me DM. See, system design, how should I put this now? Now common sense plus engineering discipline. Yes. That's system design. And the funny things now say, many students now build projects, but they cannot explain their projects. Talk through you where they look me. No lie. That your project, if you explain them. As the idea comes, you press here, pia, you do subscription. Everything just sharp. If you explain them, if you cast in the future, what you go solve? You go say you build school management system. Okay. How does login work? What happens if two admins update the same record? Or we go even ask, how did you secure your API? They go, they look you door. Even something as basic as what database tables did you create and why? Me and you know, say at this point, in laptop, you live and run. Because why? The project exists, but the understanding no deep. Now I'm gonna talk about AI small. Wait, this is warning. This video go long, and yes, it go long. So come closer. AI tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, Cursor, and the rest when they use. All these tools they change how developers they learn and build. But understand this first. AI should never be a replacement for your brain. I'm talking for my program one day on Saturday. It should not be. There with me. May I ask you this thing? Since you don't use AI, how many times now will be say you go just think something go come your head, and then you go just want think small, then you go just you just go open ChatGPT, just ask him. What do you think you are doing to your brain? Your brain be like muscles now. If you train them, it go the big way. Now you are not exercising it anymore. Story for another day. If you like, kill your brain, I'm gonna go collect my job later. So AI should not be a replacement for your brain. AI should be like amplifier. Yes. If you're thinking clear, AI go help you move very fast. If you're thinking can't scatter, AI go help you produce polished nonsense. Let me put it that way. Some students, they use AI like serious engineers. For example, they go ask, explain architecture, show me edge cases. They go say, or review the API design. Some of them go even copy the code, give and say, what can break this authentication flow? You dey whine. Or it can be, give me test cases. Anyways, forget I say you dey whine. That's actually a smart use of AI. Yes. If you use them as I tell you so, that means you try, you even think where to even use them like that. Because why? Some people, they use AI like spiritual remote control. Now why? I just compared the two for my brain now. They say build full fintech app with blockchain, with AI, escrow. They go say even add forge layer, crypto payment join. You no go read their documentation or you don't know I see bill. You for some of them go copy the link, give and say go read them. They whine. And then I'll come put for the end, make it production ready. Bro. Because the thing is even production not ready for that your prompt too. At all. AI can help you build faster. But you must still understand what you are building. Because for interviews, not be ChatGPT they go interview. You know, right? Now you they go interview. Make I give you a placement ready mindset. Yes, we go fit place you on the spot. Stop learning topics. Don't just learn topics alone. No. You need to build proof. Not just come and say, I know backend. No. Show one backend project with authentication, database, API, documentation, validation, error handling. Whether you even create your own middle layer where they handle exception, maybe different layers of exceptions, you know? And then deployment. And then don't just come out and say, I know AI. Build one small AI-powered app, may we see. Build one small AI-powered feature first. Not be the entire app, just one small feature. May we see. If it be something as simple as resume analyzer, If you even be interview questions generators, because it doesn't need to be too big, just something to show that yes, you exploited that, you handled it, you did it, so you understand what is happening in that small circle. Because one project where you understand deeply is better than 100 projects, 7 projects that you cannot defend, where you go copy. If your recruiter can ask you now, tell me about your project. Don't just go to say, it's a full stack app. No, because everybody, in one way or the other, don't build full stack app in quotes before. Say something like this one, I wrote it down, so let me read it out. I built a job application tracker. Users can add companies, track interview stages, upload resumes, and the system uses AI to compare the resume with job descriptions. The backend handles authentication, stores application history, and exposes APIs for the dashboard. I also added validation, error handling, and basic role structure. Actually, the recruiter, especially all those interviewer we don't know anything, company will also go interview. You go first adjust in chair first, or you go call person for the actual department, say, I beg, they come, this guy be like, say, na strong guy. Yes, because you sound like a builder. So if you want to use 3 months wisely, here is the roadmap. Now why I say this content long. So sit down, make you the watch am. I settle down, cool, calm. Sit down, make you observe. Now it go help your life. 1 month, the first month now. Do foundations and system thinking. Learn how the web work. HTTP, for example, REST API, front-end and back-end communication, authentication, things as little as status codes, request, response. Then try to build something very small but very serious. Maybe like that URL short now I mentioned before. Yes. No be say because it go make you billionaire. No be, that's not why. That's not why I say you should build it. No. But because it go teach you, number one, routing. It go teach you database. It go teach you unique codes. It go teach you analytics, redirects, and most important, performance. So build small, but think very deep. Second month, full stack project plus AI integration. Wait, I know some people go come dragging us at the talk say you feel learner in 3 months. What? That I'm not saying learning. I don't put code. Say they learn coding for this thing. No, you are learning system design. You are learning concepts. You are learning how to merge different blocks together. So I know add your coding learning. Before now come for me. So full stack app plus AI integration. Build one complete app. Yes. Front end, back end, database, authentication, and dashboard. Then try add one small AI feature. Nobody say go sprinkle on everywhere like saying a decoration. No. Add the AI where it go they solve real problem. For example, a resume analyzer that compares resume to job description. Yes. There is this web app I'm reviewing by, I don't forget his name. This guy will get Hello World. The app name na Hello World. I'm reviewing it. I'm checking stuff. And so far, I'm impressed with what they don't do. Yes. This line where I just talk now for this thing where they talk, I see the idea for there. They're sharp. But when I finish, I'll come out, come talk what I think about the thing. Where I still think say they go still touch 1 or 2. Yes. If you even build study analyzer or summarizer, we go summarize uploaded notes. See, many things, if you even be customer support for e-commerce, then just make sure say you document everything where you do. Now then you go to say documentation hard. As I they build this Mueller framework, I want craze for the documenting. Sometimes I will have to just tell Codex, Baba, document this thing that I will read it through and say, okay, they okay, I just 1 or 2. Documenting is not joke at all. So if you document everything, make sure you say you get architecture diagram. Draw your database design, your API design, your API routes. If you document which problem you solve. If you make any trade-off, why? Document and why you make that trade-off and reasons behind it. And then what you would like to improve later. You see that document alone can separate you from many people. I tell you. People have worked with I know say they go the reason say, Amospikins like documentation. If you send me something to observe, instead I can just send you email. You know, say normal to just send email. Just say, no, I go Microsoft Office or Google Doc. I go write like document, turn out to PDF, send, give you. Yes. You get why? I don't train myself like that. Why? Because many developers can code, but few can explain. I don't see some of the things why they tell you, now things why I don't pass through before. And I just get luck because some people I don't learn from. Not like learn from, maybe they show me code or anything. God have helped me that I've worked with some people. I don't know if you just call their name for this content. Where we say, they don't know them, but they be like perfectionist. And some of them don't work with white people. They know the way that they do things. Those days, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, we would do something like this. In fact, there was a guy I was building something for. This guy went so far to go and register me for a blockchain course. Not general class, oh. Now what they talk and know. One-on-one class with an Indian guy. 3 months. Yeah. One-on-one. Before I build the guy a product. And the product wasn't even, still become successful. So you see? So some of them are my own personal experience. They go say, okay, tell us what you did. And you go just quickly talk. And for your mind, you explain the proper. But they say, no. You would argue, but they can't outline and they will give you a sample document. You can say, not true, because your document supposed to be say your documented this way. Say when they give another person that document, the person doesn't need to get back to you to ask questions from the document. You understand what you mean? Yes. So month 3, I refuse to break this video in Jesus' name. I go watch and finish. Interview preparation. Now you start practicing how to talk. Even me, I still get problem there. That's why I like watching Uma Codes. I think that's his name. Instead, go notice how they comment for some of the videos they like him. Because I like the way they talk in things and the way they train people for interview and all those things. And they learn a lot from the guy. If I know Uma Codes, I will tag him for this video. The guy good. Even me see they learn him. You know, say if you know the interview, they die small. Maybe that's too extreme, but you not gonna know what they out there. You not gonna know what the industry mean again. You go just say yes. So now start practicing how to talk. It took me a while to learn it too, yes. Because knowing something and say you go explain now under pressure, now 2 different skills. Yes. Start practicing mock interviews. Explain your projects very loud. Explain it loudly. Face mirror, they explain them. Record yourself. You think say this record the way they do so? Now go see Kegan, they shoot content mature like. And I don't watch that one we talk that they say they even plan. That guy is sharp, he sharp as all of us. I go plan and where because we that they teach hard. You know go plan, you just sit down, bam, and you go just take one shot. You think say that thing easy? Sit down, carry camera, try am, may you see. Draw your architectures. You need to begin to ask yourself questions like, why did you choose this database? Why you handle errors like this? Why you prefer this trade-off? Why you do this trade-off? How you intend to secure user data? What thing you go change if your app users reach 100,000 users? Now there you go see the confidence go begin to the enter. Because no be from all those your motivational quote to confidence go come from preparation. And you need to understand this. Companies don't expect you to know everything. Yes, they don't think they expect. No, of course. It's not easy. But they want to see you think. They want to see your structure, how you take structure things. They want to see how you take the communicate. They want to see ownership. They want to know whether you feel learn very fast. You grab. They want to see whether you feel break down problems. They want to see whether you feel work on real life database. We don't the production when issues there. That one I experience, oh, don't be play, oh, don't be play. Like me, I want to see whether if you use AI tools responsibly. I don't want to say you they build, I can't babysit you every 5 minutes. No, companies want to see that. See, come closer. Make I tell you the truth. CGPA good, yes. DSA very good. So no get me wrong, certificates are very, very good. But if you not go show your working project and explain the system, you they make your journey very hard. Because right now, the market is very noisy. If you do online every day, go like say you die, you don't know anything. People are progressing, you they die. Calm down. Everybody, they say, I'm passionate. Passion, no, they compile. I don't talk about my previous video. Passion doesn't compile. You need to show working. This thing be like football trial. You know, go contact coach, say, you don't watch 300,000 football videos. So you sabi. Coach go say, enter field. Show working. That your field, now your GitHub. That your field, now your project. That your field, now your architecture explanation. That your field, now the interview. We already know that there's a gap between what school teaches and what company needs. It has been there forever. But to me, I see strong opportunity gap inside that thing. While some people, they wait, may they bring complete curriculum, you should start building. Yes, be building. Build reward project. Draw your system. Draw architecture. Draw diagram. Draw database diagram. Draw your ER. Then deploy it. Write it down. Document it. I tell my system, my students, make they go online, go they post their work for X and LinkedIn, post it. Say you be beginner, people will correct you. You go learn from there. They will break it. You fix it. Many things. You go grow faster than us that many years ago. That's how you become placement ready. Actually, nobody say you go sit down and shout AI is the future. They whine. All those your YouTube video where you keep, including my own, you're not gonna know anything until you get your hand dirty. Until your hand don't enter dirty. You go come see say if for you page come bring our video come, you come see say it go come make sense. Because you are not just watching from nothing. So system design and AI, they don't be buzzword again. They are the modern way. I want to put down. They are the way now for modern software development. Yes. So you don't get choice as a beginner. Begin to understand system design, and you will not understand it fully until you start building. Because now system design will teach you how real applications they work. AI tools go help you move faster, but the real mindset, the real thing, are the mindset of a builder. Make sure say you get and don't trade it for AI. So, anyways. You know me already. Now me Amospikins, the tech prophet. If you watch up to this point to the end, I have something for you. The first person will send me DM after this video, the one person first to show say you watch and finish, because that's what I put at the end. I go give you scholarship. If you be beginner, nobody say you don't sabi, I don't need you. You be beginner, you won't learn. I'll give you scholarship to my software full stack development class next year. What they advertise so. Free of charge, full paid for online. What will be the value now 1.5 million? I go give you free access. So as they hear me, they talk this and send me DM. The first person, and I go announce the person come out so that they know this I drawn on a dagbo. So bye.